Amazon Prime Day is coming, and it's so special, we brought out the confetti cannons. What's Prime Day? It's a day with more deals than Black Friday, exclusively for Amazon Prime members. Amazon Prime members can save big on thousands of amazing items, all on Prime Day. Not a Prime member? There's still time to sign up. Go to Amazon.com right now. Don't miss it. Prime Day is one day only, July 15th. I'm going to need a lot more confetti, just so you know.
Blog Talk Radio.
This is another Step Trap production.
Good evening, good people. Thank you for listening in, tuning in to the first episode of Sickle Strong Radio. My name is DraZ, Asbury, Associate Director of the P413 Foundation, and I got my co-host.
Hello, everyone. It's Miss Nakia on the line.
All right, and today, like I said, it's the kickoff show, so really what we're about to do is just give you all a little bit of information, insight, anything that we got going on, anything that's going on within the sickle cell community. We got a special guest calling in today, which is Mr. Dr. Louis Sue, who is the director of the Sickle Cell Center over at the UIC, the University of Illinois at Chicago, and a professor of Pediatrics. So if there's any sickle cell patients out there, you got any questions for Dr. Sue, definitely call in. The call-in number is 516-666-9973. You can hit that button. It'll give you instructions to hit the button and call in and talk to us. Call in with your questions with Dr. Sue. And then also if you got any questions for us. And then, we can go from there. We'll try to answer anything as possible. This is the kickoff show, so I definitely want to make sure that we cover as much as possible. And if anybody has ever had any questions or wanted any more information about the P413 Foundation, definitely that's what we're here for. So how you doing today, Miss Sheree?
I'm doing good.
You doing good? Feeling all right? If for anybody that don't know, Miss Sheree is the sickle cell patient herself. She goes through everything that we're out there fighting for, everything that we have out there advocating for. She lives through it daily. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Everything. I was just out of the hospital about a week ago. Was in there for a couple of days with a crisis. Actually had to get a transfusion while I was in there. The blood count had dropped to 7.3, so I had to have 2 units of blood. So, and for anyone out there who's curious about what P413 stands for, it actually comes from the Bible, Philippians 4:13, which states, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." We basically started this foundation it hasn't been quite a year, a couple of months ago last year, in honor of my brother who passed away from sickle cell disease. He was very young. He was only 40 when he passed. So, we definitely want to continue to bring out awareness to this disease. We want to get it up there on the top of the list like breast cancer is, ALS, all these different, diseases that are out there that we constantly hear about. So we just want to keep bringing that awareness out there is the best way we can for all of our sickle cell warriors.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and ultimately, that's our mission. Like she said, she we buried her brother, my brother-in-law, a couple of years ago. Complications from sickle cell. So really, with that was kind of like the spark that got us started with the P413 Foundation, along with her advocating to the youth as a sickle cell patient, living beyond what the doctors want to label her, and place those restrictions on her life. So really, that's what got us started. And I mean, since then, since October of last year, we really just been going hard, going strong, doing a lot of radio stuff, doing a lot of community events, just doing interviews here and there, speaking at schools, religious institutions, wherever we can, really just to spread the word. Because the more and more we've gotten out there, and especially with her being hospitalized, it's like we get doctors and nurses in the hospital that really don't even know, and they're the ones with the paper. Pretty much you could tell them like how many times we've come across like somebody just sitting by your bedside and saying, hey,
Well, this wasn't my last visit, but maybe a couple of months ago, I believe back in April, a nurse was taking care of me, and she actually sat in the room with me a while after giving me my pain medication and just asked, basically what all is the difference with sickle cell, what all goes with that as far as my pain and how I deal with it, which is funny coming from a nurse. You would think, nurses know all about diseases, different diseases out there, but, she was very questionable about it and wanted to learn more about it, and that's what I look for. I look for people not being ignorant to what sickle cell is and actually asking questions and wanting to know more about it. So that was very, astonishing to me to actually have her sit in there with me and just talk about my disease and what goes on with it and how long I have been dealing with it.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's happened. Unfortunately, I should say it's happened more often than none. So really, that's one of our goals. That's on our to-do list. That's on our dream board, is to get more involved with these hospitals and the medical staff, and get with them hand in hand, and just pretty much just try to get a count, if possible, on how many sickle cell patients, especially in our area, how many sickle cell patients they have that come throughout their facilities for treatment through and through. And locally in Illinois, for our out-of-town listeners, we, here in Illinois, we are having a little bit of complications with the funding and everything, and some battles with the funding in our Sickle Cell Resource Center, our Sickle Cell Treatment Center that we have here in Illinois. So I think it's one of the good things that we do have Dr. Sue calling in today for an interview. And it looks like we do have him ready to go up. So we're going to go ahead and bring him in, because he is a very busy man. So definitely blessed to have him on the line with us today, and definitely blessing us with his word and anything else, any updates that he has. So we're going to go ahead and pull in Dr. Sue and dig in with the questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions, definitely call in.
Dr. Sue.
Hello. Good evening.
How are you today, sir?
Good evening.
Good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. We're just getting started with the show today, and it's, like I said, I'm not sure if you heard, but it definitely is a pleasure to have you online with us today and discuss any topics and any questions that us and the listeners may have.
Great. Happy to be here.
Well, Dr. Sue, this is Ms. Nakia. I am actually an advocate for sickle cell. I actually have the disease as well. Been dealing with it for about 37 years now. I'm 40, and I know that there's a lot of new research going out there for the children that are dealing with sickle cell, mainly bone marrow and stem cell transplant. Can you speak on that a little bit, like what exactly that is?
Yeah, sure. So the general idea is that sickle cell is a inherited blood disease, affects the red blood cells, and as long as you have your own bone marrow that's making the red blood cells with sickle genes in them, you'll continue to have sickle cell disease. We can still treat with different medicines, we can do transfusions, but the bone marrow is still making the sickle red blood cells. However, if you get bone marrow or stem cells from somebody else that does not have sickle cell disease, and this could be a brother or sister who has sickle trait, or it could be a brother or sister who doesn't have sickle cell at all, no sickle genes at all, then that could be a cure for it. And it has been done for 400, 500 people around the world now, mostly children, but increasingly adults are having this also. And so here in Illinois, we have adults getting bone marrow transplant too.
Now, with that being done with adults, is there a cutoff age with that can be done?
It's a case-by-case thing, so that for the patients who've been had transplants in Chicago, it's been up into the 30s. But at National Institutes of Health, NIH, in Bethesda, there was actually a patient who was 62-year-old gentleman with sickle cell disease. And he had a brother with who he knew was a match for him and did not have sickle cell disease. And he said, I know it's taking a risk, but I'm tired of living with sickle cell. I just want to take this chance. He got counseling. He got an ethics board committee met with him, make sure he knew what he was doing. But he did. He went for it, and he actually got transplanted and got cured.
That's awesome.
Nice. Now, do you now with that, do you have any, just off top, as close as possible, but do you have any numbers like as far as the success rate for adults? I know it's been pretty successful in the youth, but as far as the testing for the adults, like, do you have any numbers like as far as the percentage of adults that it actually has been successful for?
Yep. So, excuse me. For adults, the biggest factor is whether you have a suitable donor as a brother or sister who's a match for you. If there is a brother or sister as a match, then the results from University of Illinois in Chicago have been 13 successes out of 14 transplants. So that's better than a 90% success rate.
Yeah,
and at NIH is also about 30 patients, and their success rate is in the 95% success rate also. So these are adults.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. All right, yeah, those are definitely good numbers. A lot better than what I had thought. You know, like I said, I know the better focus, especially with you more directly, is on the youth and getting them cured, getting them help as young as possible, as fast as possible, so that they don't have to go through the rest of their lives and battling with the pain and battling with this disease and everything.
Yes.
Now now for some of the people like I know, and I know Ms. Nakia knows, but like what are some of the symptoms? Because dealing with pediatrics and dealing with youth, they can't verbalize directly when they're having a sickle cell crisis. So just for the listeners that we have, like, can you kind of explain like some of the symptoms of early detection of sickle cell in a child?
Right. So the very earliest is to detect with what's called a newborn screening blood test. So in all 50 states plus District of Columbia, babies get a blood test at birth, basically. Usually they do it with a heel stick, and they do a test with a blood spot that goes on a filter paper, and this gets tested for sickle cell as well as things like phenylketonuria, maple syrup urine disease, thyroid problems, etc. But the thing that gets picked up the most often is sickle cell. And this way, before somebody has symptoms, they can actually get diagnosed. So pretty much since 1990, most diagnoses of sickle cell have been through this newborn screening program. For other people, though, if you missed that for some reason, you moved from someplace else, or your test got lost, or you moved before they could notify you of it, sometimes the first sign for a young baby is what's called dactylitis, and that is sickle cell pain in the fingers or the toes. Sometimes the fingers can get so painfully swollen they look like little sausages. They lose the wrinkles on them. And this would be, and if it's on the feet, then the baby doesn't feel like putting any weight on his feet, may cry and just not be consolable at all. And this would be also, you try everything else that, usually would help with a baby. You try feeding them, burping them, changing them, rocking them, singing to them, keep them warm, keep them comfortable. But if all of that doesn't work and this baby has sickle cell, then the things to look for would be the swelling of the hands or the feet. It can be so painful that the babies may need to have very strong pain medicines for that, sometimes codeine or even morphine. And it can last for several days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow, but those are pretty strong medications for a child. Like, is there like I would imagine, compared to an adult versus a child, like they would get a very small dosage of that, correct?
Right. So pediatricians are accustomed to figuring out the right dose that's safe for a child and adjust it up and down.
I actually had another question in regard to the newborn screening. And they started that in the 90s. And let's just say you were born, prior to the 90s. Is it possible to find out you have sickle cell later on in life, in your 20s or 30s? Is that possible?
Yes, definitely. So that some people may have had a milder case of sickle cell that did not have trouble in childhood or even in early adulthood. And so the first problems may show up later on. Sometimes it could be when this adult is going through something very challenging to their body, going through, heavy exercise training like boot camp for the military, or going through pregnancy, or going through some extraordinarily stressful dehydration, high altitude, something like that. Other people, unfortunately, have had sickle cell pain and have gone along through their whole life getting misdiagnosed. And so there's some people, ladies that I've met who are in their 50s or 60s, who said, oh, yeah, I was in this small town. Nobody ever heard of sickle cell. They just thought I had rheumatoid arthritis for 30 years, and they were treating me. They didn't understand why their arthritis medicines weren't working until I went and saw this other doctor. They did a blood test and said, oh, you have sickle cell. Did you know that? And that was the first they had heard.
I had another question. I'm kind of relating a lot of things. So when I'm in the hospital, but usually when a sickle cell patient comes in with crisis, is it normal for ER doctors to determine if they're in a crisis based off their blood level count?
No. Basically, the way to tell somebody's in pain is when somebody tells you that they're in pain.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, because she said, she recently experienced that. Actually, she was in the hospital and they pretty much they released her. They did a series of tests. Well, you can tell.
Yeah. This is just last week. I went in, to the hospital with a crisis, and they were going off what my count was. And normally my count is usually low anyway. It's usually an 8. And they released me. They gave me pain medicine and hydration and released me. Well, the crisis lasted for a couple of days, so I had to go back. And again, I was released until it came, finally came on over the weekend. I had to go back again, and that ER doctor finally said, "Okay, we'll keep you." I see a lot of doctors trying to relate if you're in a crisis because of your blood count number, and that's not true.
No, it's not. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Somebody's blood counts can look exactly the same Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and they could have pain on 2 of those days and not on the others. Or somebody could be having changes in their blood counts and not having pain, but they could be having other sickle cell issues. So a lot of times we do get blood counts because we're watching for other sickle cell complications involving spleen or bones or liver or lungs or something like that. So that the information there is other information to be gained from the blood counts, but there's no blood test now that can tell us whether somebody's in pain.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Now I just had and I just had one more question, and then I believe we can let you get back. But you can maybe a touching thing, but you don't have to answer it if you don't want. But honestly, I just want to know what's the latest, or what are any updates as far as the funding cut at UIC Health Center?
Well,
that's a big thing.
So we are currently blessed with having so many new opportunities to study things. It used to be that we only had one new drug or candidate drug to test for sickle cell like every 3 or 4 years. And now we have 11 or 12 going on at the same time. It's just this amazing explosion of new possible treatments. So some of these are treatments that were developed specifically for sickle cell and have been tested on from cells to mice to primates to human trials, and are now in the early parts of human trials to see whether they will help with making the cells sickle less because they have more fetal hemoglobin. And these could be alternatives to hydroxyurea. For some people, the hydroxyurea doesn't work. There's other medicines that are trying to decrease how much the cells sickle by changing how we carry oxygen. And then there's a whole host of other things that are being kind of borrowed from or adapted from other diseases, where anti-inflammatory medicines or medicines to promote blood flow or cut down on clotting or keep platelets from being too sticky, keep blood vessels open. Lots and lots of new things are being tried, and it's really exciting for those too, because some of these are medicines that are already been tested and found to be safe in some other condition, and you just have to find out whether the theory that they might help sickle cell is going to work. Now, I have to be honest that most of the time, when you have a new idea and you try something, the nature of research is that it often doesn't work, and so we don't expect that we're going to have 11 new drugs tested and 11 of them all successful. We probably figure a small fraction of them will. But this is really the highest chance for breakthroughs that we've had in a long, long time. And this is at the same time that bone marrow transplants are going well. New approaches are being developed to see whether people who do not have that brother or sister as the match could get a transplant too. And so those are called either unrelated donor transplants or half-matched, haploidentical transplants. And then the latest, the very, very latest thing on the horizon, or actually here now, is that in the last 6 months or so, there's been new trials starting with gene therapy for sickle cell. So that, as you know, sickle cell is a genetic condition, and people have known this for 60 years or more. It's one of the first conditions where the DNA basis for the disease is actually known. And people thought from way back then that it would be immediately curable because you could fix the gene. And if I could tell a little story here. So my father, my father actually was a student, a grad student in Illinois. He came from China. He came to study science. He was studying chemistry. And he wasn't studying sickle cell or disease medicine, but because this is a huge breakthrough, finding out the DNA basis for disease, he went to a seminar about this in 1957. And at that time, they said, well, we got this genetic basis for this disease, so cures are going to be coming along soon. That was 1957. So he's kind of pleased that I'm actually working in this area. He's surprised that cures haven't come sooner, but it's actually now about to happen.
Nice. So is that kind of what started or what sparked your interest in dealing with sickle cell directly?
Well, he told me that story later, but for me it was that on the one hand, this is a condition where we know a lot about the cells, about the DNA, the science, but had not been able to translate into the treatments. And I would go around the corner from the laboratory where all this science was going on and see patients still having pain that was 10 out of 10 or having stroke or acute chest and different kinds of things. And so pretty much my career goal has been to try to develop better treatments and to educate everybody about what's available while we're still, making the better treatments come along. I'm hoping to work myself out of a job.
Definitely. I mean, well, I see your face and I see your name everywhere, So, I mean, you're definitely working hard and trying to towards bringing advancements within the community and within sickle cell. So definitely, I take my hat off to you, and I want to thank you on behalf of our foundation and on behalf of our group for everything that you're doing and the hard work that you're putting in.
Most definitely. Thank you, Dr. Sue.
All right. Thank you all for the opportunity.
All right.
We'll do this again sometime.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you for calling in and sharing your stories, and we'll definitely be in touch. We'll continue to be in touch and hopefully bump elbows again at whatever the next event is within the community.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good evening.
All right. You have a good evening.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that was Dr. Sue with the University of Illinois at Chicago, Director of Sickle Cell and Pediatrics, and anybody that listened in, if you have any other questions, definitely call in. Continue to call in. Again, the call-in number, the guest call-in number is 516-666-9973. We're going to go ahead and take a little break, play a little music, and kind of debrief and go over some things that we're working on right now. We got a couple of events. We got some announcements. We got some stories to share. We're just going to fill your ears up. We're kind of halfway through. Again, I want to say thank you to Dr. Sue for calling in, and check out this new track that we got. It's from a Chicago hip hop group called the Running Rebels. And if anybody else out there that has any music that they want to display and want us to play during the Sickle Strong Hour, go ahead and email it over to us at info@P413foundation.org. This is a Chicago local group called the Running Rebels. We'll be back soon.
Let me know still good in the hood. My brothers, my folks, my foes, my moles. Can we party in peace, leave the heats in the street as you come through my rap booth door? Have a sip, reminisce about the good times on the avenue when we grind to fold. Stop sending these shorties off the deep end, not a life jacket, no sir, can't go. Let me know still good in the hood, my chillers, cause you know most these said so. Need some tender love and care, all the hurt and the pain that your precious little heart's been exposed. 22 hoes, 13 years old, perpetrator, no savior, have to atone. Stay in your lane, stop shooting, no gang, all gotta change if we wanna make it home. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good, family style, loving each other like I knew we could. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good, family style, loving each other like I knew we could.
Let me know if we can work that number. 25% less murders next summer. Time to stand on our own 2 feet and change our community, kill the drama. Can't wait for the president to fix everything. Other words, can't blame Obama. Can't call OG by first name no more, boy, you better say mama. Parents stop being best friends. They got friends, kids need discipline. Understand that switch gon' sting, but 25 to life, know the hell that brings. Let me know still good in the hood. Picnic, black folk eating good. No pigs not eating on the grill, blue and white, get gone, it's love in the skin.
Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good, family style, loving each other like I knew we could. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good, family style, loving each other like I knew we could. Let me know still good in the hood, my breeze, my souls, MCs, BDs. Acting up for a long time now, gotta move to the side with the grass more green. Stop killing over corners, ain't I? When the police come, they gon' make us leave. Dope things with your police, putting things in your body that's gon' make you lean. Let me know still good in the hood, through 6 my pockets, my cobras, my kings. Don't you know it's time to unite, trusting us, it could be the most beautiful scene. To the ladies, stay strong, have our back, hand in hand, one day our light gon' beam. J-Mo, Mo thieves, We running rebels, ain't going nowhere. Keep doing our thing. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good. Family style loving each other like I knew we could. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good in the hood. Let me know still good. Family style loving each other like I knew we could.
All right, that right there, that was a song from the Running Rebels, who is a local group out of Chicago, out of the west side of Chicago, I believe, and it was produced by a good friend of mine, homie I grew up with. I went to school with. His name is Drew People. So definitely, thank you for the submission. Again, sing your positive music, your poems, your poetry. If you do poetry. If you play instruments, definitely send any of that in to us. And I mean, we're looking for positivity. We're looking for things that are clean. That track that we just played, which is called Hood Good, it was selected really just because coming off of the holiday weekend here locally in Chicago, there was a lot of violence. And actually, there's a lot of violence going on. So I wanted to kind of bring that for any of our local listeners, play that in light of everything that we're going on, just so we can kind of bring some good and some peace throughout everybody. Spread love, spread good vibes. So thank you again for tuning in. To everybody that is tuning in, I see we got a few people, few new people that are listening in right now. I want to thank you and welcome you to the Sickle Strong Radio, SickleStrongRadio.com. Again, my name is DraZ Asbury,
and this is your girl Nakia.
All right, and for those that are just tuning in, if you were calling to hear or talk to our special guest, who was Dr. Lewis Sue with Sickle Cell Pediatrics at University of Illinois in Chicago. Unfortunately, you just missed them. So, but the good thing is though, all of the shows are archived, so you can go back to the website SickleStrongRadio.com later on tonight or in the morning and play back, hear all of the information. He shared some great information, wouldn't you say?
Awesome information. Like I definitely wanted to. I got some good feedback from him and some things I knew was correct about, of patients going in with the prices and what some doctors be looking at. Well, every doctor is different, different. And I think after you live with sickle cell for so long, you basically are your own doctor, your own nurse. You know what works for you, and sometimes you do have to tell the doctor, the nurse, hey, this is what works. I know I do. Yeah. Every time I go to the hospital, they may ask me, well, what works best for you? Is it morphine, dilaudid, whatever? I usually tell them what works for me. I
mean, some, and I've been there, and some have said, some have agreed. They said bedside, but then you got those ones that pretty much they want to play hardball, and they want to pretend or act like they know it all, or put it in the front that they know it all, when really you're the one that's sitting at the
Exactly. So no doctor can say that you're in pain or you're not in pain. Only the person who's dealing with the pain can say this is what it is, And a lot of things I hear about as well is that some doctors tend to treat you as if you're an addict looking for drugs. So let me tell you, I'm a person who I would prefer not to take any narcotics for my pain. If something else would come up that I can use and that's not in pill form, I would definitely use it. So it's not always a person coming in for, pain medication, or seeking drugs. I would say 90% of the time, a sickle cell patient coming in with a crisis, they're in a crisis.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, they tend to look at it, like you said, and say, that you're just coming in for that regular fix when it's not true. I mean, it kind of gets confusing though, like when we got people within the sickle cell community, and not to turn down on anybody or anything, none of that. I mean, we're not, we're just here really to spread good energy. But when you're sitting in the bed or laying in the hospital bed and you're sitting there, having a photo shoot.
Yeah, that's a big discussion we've had a lot of. Most of the time when I'm in the hospital in a crisis, usually it's my husband that's taking a picture of me, showing you this is what she's going through.
Yeah.
This is the pain she's dealing with. I usually won't take a picture of myself until I'm actually on day 3 or 4 and actually feeling better and actually know I'm looking like myself.
Right.
Because when I'm in a crisis, I'm definitely not looking like myself. I'm in pain. You're going to see it in my face. I'm in pain. So, and usually I don't want to talk. I don't want to be on the phone. I know a lot of my, family and friends tend to call and check on me, and don't take offense if I'm not responding. It's just that I'm in my pain, and I'm just trying to deal with that, So, I look at a lot of pictures on Facebook because I'm in a lot of, sickle cell groups and just right there in the hospital, and some of them be looking real dolled up, makeup and all, and I'm like, usually when I'm going to the hospital, I'm not even taking nothing with me but myself. I usually forget my, my medical cards and all that, but I'm not ready for no photo shoot when I'm in the hospital. Please just believe me of my pain. That's all I'm there for.
And I run our Instagram, and I see it all, all the time, and I just sit there and really just confused it and all, because I know what you go through, and then some of the, we have close reach to a couple of children, sickle cell patients as well within our group, and it's like we sit and we look at them, I look at her, and I'm like, I can't, I really can't imagine what you're going through. But then I turn to Instagram or I turn to Twitter, and then I got, cheese, smile for the picture type thing.
Yeah.
And, I wonder, I honestly wonder, like, how many nurses have come in the middle of a quote-unquote hospital photo shoot and see you smiling when they're coming to give you your meds, right? Taking a selfie. So, definitely that's something that as a community within sickle cell we have to correct and we have to watch because those are things that they're going to continue to challenge us with. They're going to continue to challenge the patients with. Like, what was it, about 2 months ago we came across that nurse.
Oh yeah, this nurse actually wasn't in the States. I believe this nurse was in the UK and had said something negative about a sickle cell patient.
I have it. I have to find it, but really they were just talking about. They were just joking. Like it was one nurse. It was a male nurse over in the UK that put a post up about that very thing that we're talking about. This the sickle cell patients supposedly being in there for pain crisis, and they're not looking like it. I'm not sure what if when you're in pain, if you have to have it written on your forehead or anything like that, but. And, they posted it up as a joke, and a few other nurses or a few other doctors or physicians weighed in on it. And, just doing a random search, a random hashtag search on social media, we came across it and, just mouths dropped, jaws dropped.
Well, I responded. Usually when I see something that they're making a joke of sickle cell, I have a response for it. And me and this nurse actually went back and forth for a minute, and he did apologize for the fact that you felt the need. I feel like a nurse is there to take care of your patients. You're there to have that compassion. You need to have that sympathy, and whatever your thoughts are. And yes, true enough, if you're outside of work, you have your social media, you can put whatever you want. But again, this is still your job. So it should never be anything negative towards any patient, they're in pain or not. So he definitely did apologize and removed his post.
Yeah, he actually changed his Instagram name because we had screenshot it. Well, I screenshot it, and I shared it across the rest of the sickle cell community. On that followers, all of our followers online, I shared it, just to kind of get them to weigh in. And I'm assuming that he got attacked, that he got cyber attacked. And honestly, then he ended up changing his Instagram name. He took the post down. He apologized, et cetera, et cetera. But those are things that I don't feel, in the advocacy team, I do not feel acceptable. And, with her being directly a patient of sickle cell, can definitely take offense to it.
And with Louis saying that, that brings me to the TED 2 movie. Now, we did say earlier we weren't going to speak about it, but I actually would like to hear some feedback about that movie because there was a sickle cell joke made in the movie. So, I definitely want to hear some feedback from anyone on what they think about that. Louis definitely has his his thoughts with that. He can share that with you, what he thinks about that.
Honestly, anybody that follows me on social media knows that I went hard for it. I don't live with sickle cell directly, but then again I do. And so naturally I've taken ownership to it. And for those that aren't familiar with it, the joke that went behind it, it was a scene. It was a scene where they, where Ted and Mark Wahlberg, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Ted and Mark Wahlberg, they were in the sperm clinic because, you know, Ted too, he's trying to, you know, pretty much get humanized or, you know, have the same rights as humans. And I haven't seen it, but those are just off the reviews. And they were in a sperm bank because Ted's girlfriend, I guess, was trying to have a baby or get pregnant so they can share those human experiences. And Mark Wahlberg bumped into a table. Yeah. There was a table of sperm that they couldn't use, and you know they had deemed it, the nurse or whoever was running the clinic that said, you know, that's rejected sperm due to sickle cell. And when he bumped the table and he knocked it over, it splattered all over him. And then Ted made a joke and said, "Ha, you know, you're covered in rejected black guy sperm. You look like a Kardashian." Now, naturally, those are two things. Those are two things right there that I should take offense to as an African American male, because sickle cell, you know, definitely. I mean, there can be a racial undertone in that as well. But we're here to speak about sickle cell, and honestly, I took offense to it because, for one, as the fact states, sickle cell isn't just targeted to African Americans, and then to narrow that down, it definitely isn't just targeted to African American males. Now, that movie gets out, it makes it big as it usually does. I could be walking down the street and, you know, somebody looks at me and they say, he's a black male, he got sickle cell.
Right.
And that's not, you know, that's not true. So a lot of people in the sickle cell community have taken offense, and some have applauded the fact as it brings awareness. And, you know, that's where there's currently a petition going around started by the SCDAA, Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, to get NBC Universal to issue a formal apology. But then again, there are some, including Ms. Nakia and Ms. Sheree, that applauded and says, you know, that, you know, awareness is awareness. That's the same mission.
Well, let's get one thing straight. I don't applaud the, you know, black guy. You're covered in black guy sperm. That I don't applaud. And I wouldn't say applaud. What I'm 50-50 with that, because I'm looking at sickle cell bring brung out as awareness. Anyone who goes into that movie who has never heard of sickle, and when they hear that one part, you know, they may Google, you know, what is sickle cell. And again, there is that ignorant part as well. You're covered in black guy sperm. So that, you know, and that just makes it seem like it is just an African American disease, which it is not. This disease is actually could be an Asian, Mediterranean.
Any of the southern Europeans, and then as well as Hispanics as well. You know,
correct.
It largely affects African Americans. Next in line would be the Hispanics, and then we have a population of the southern European residents or descents as well.
Right.
So, I don't know. We got mixed views, you know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Head,
yeah.
You know, nothing like that. But you know, it's good. It's always good to see the bad, you know, the good and the bad in any kind of situation. So before we go play a song, and I'm gonna be kind of selfish with it after this, but before we go play the next song, you know, definitely call in. If there's anybody out there listening online, call in, give us a call, weigh in, and give us your thoughts. Share your thoughts and opinions on that. If you feel that it's a good thing because it brings awareness, or if you see the negative undertone in it and you take offense to it as well. The call-in number is 516-666-9973. Again, that's 516-666-9973. And for anybody that's already online listening in, hit the number 1, and let us know that you want to speak in. Let us know that you want to call in and weigh your thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and play this new joint. Actually, it's not new, but it's, you know, it's a real good song by an artist named DraZ. I don't know who he is.
Wow.
But, you know, definitely, you know, I'm going to go play my track. I'm going to be selfish real quick and play my song, my 2014 hit song, DraZ, I Want It All, featuring Grits. So we'll be right back after this.
I want it all. Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all, baby. And I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it all.
I was naked there. Now a little older, my neck ain't bare. Roll, lean back, stretch and chairs or some big body ish as the next compare. We do it all for approval. Fuck, I need acceptance. I breathe like you do. While your views precious, I mean like FUBU. I cling to the efforts. See me on some negative dreams so connected. Tailor-made hustle, my team ain't present. Think I made them talk like Sterling upset when I was talking quitting. I was off vision, sorta like Pops, I was clean in the kitchen. I did enough pop-ish, major to profit. Speech on the stages to play this at colleges. No degree, what's the odds it is? Above minimum wage with a polish kid. I want it all.
Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all for me. Said I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all for me. Said I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it
Still
all.
frame pictures, I deal pain well. Broke for a year, so I best ain't tell. Dry weight car show, club tab bottles, all in the image of a buzz in Chicago. Southside did it, won't forget when I visit. Sis to the Wheelers, Chirac, how they living. A blessing to see 25 in position. Everybody dying, I ain't trying to relive it. A kid with a vision, we drive by the Regal. Mural on the side, wanna be like the people. Years later, I was on the same old stage, getting that award and performance I made. A blueprint, new imprint for the junior to do better. As I'm marking the views to my heart, just the margin, the guys, the script. I want it all from the tries and slips. I want it all.
Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all for me. Said I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all for me. Said I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it all.
Wall full of mirrors, I see it all clearer. Dreams fall rare cause the things called fair. Of acceptance, a blessing. We all get the gifts, but it's stuck in the presence of good adolescents. Views of a doctor, hood turned cold, now we holding the Glock up. That's a dream deferred. He knew his little homies would have seen him nerd. He wanted all.
Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all for me. Said I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, I want it all. Said I want it all for me. Said I want it all for me. Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, I want it all.
All right. Thanks for those who are still tuning in after whoever that was, DraZ or whatever his name is, after that song played.
Welcome back.
But, again, quick show recap. Thank you again to Dr. Sue with the UIC University of Illinois Chicago Pediatrics Sickle Cell Unit. Dropped some great gems on us, a lot of good information, answered some questions. If you missed them calling in early in on the show, definitely visit us on the web, sicklestrongradio.com, and, catch the archive later on tonight, or by in the morning. Definitely it'll be up so you can get that information. We do want to make this a regular thing, so, continue to spread the love, spread the word, help us spread awareness, all of that good stuff. And, just share the link, share your feedback, leave us comments on the web, all of that good stuff. I want to make an announcement. We do have anybody that's been following us, we've been tirelessly throughout the community spreading awareness of a lot of good things that we've been doing ever since our establishment. So thank you to those who have been to our events, who have tuned in to our previous interviews, or came out to any of our speaking engagements. Coming up on the calendar, we do have a couple of things coming up, but most importantly, the biggest event of the year is coming this September. September, we're doing a fashion show in Gurnee, Illinois, along with MAB Entertainment at the Holiday Inn in Gurnee, Illinois. We are currently looking for any fashion designers, boutiques. If you do nails, if you do hair, you got jewelry, whatever it is that you display that you want to contribute. The date is September 26th at the Holiday Inn in Gurnee. It is for Sickle Cell Awareness Month. It's a fashion show that we're doing, fundraiser, awareness event, all of that good stuff. And, tickets will be on sale soon. The official word will be out, but if anybody wants to get an event space or take part, if you model, if you got some talents you want to display, email us at info@p413foundation.org and let us know. Let us know that you want to be a part of it, help in any capacity.
And again, this is a fundraiser for Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So, anyone just coming out to this, vendors or anyone wanting to participate in it, it's for a good cause. It's definitely a selfless act when you give yourself, for events like this to bring awareness. So we're definitely looking for a lot of different people to come out and show their support.
Show your support, display your talents, whatever it is. Again, if anybody out there is on the line, I do see we have a few people on the line. We did just touch on the TED 2 movie and weighed our views on it, our burst opinions on it. But if anybody does have any questions regarding it, if you see anything within the you see my side, if you team Lewis.
No, we're not gonna do that. We are not debating about this TED 2. We did TED 1.
You team Lewis.
So
yeah,
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna go see it. Like I love the movie. So
if
you have your weigh-ins, if you have your thoughts about it, just give us a call. Let us know what you think about what was said in the movie.
Or drop us a line online. Check us out on Facebook. I do have the petition circulating. If you're Team Lewis. Definitely. But on a more serious note, though, whatever it is, if you know somebody that's near and dear to you or close to you that that you love, or you yourself have sickle cell, regardless of it, it's all a mission to spread awareness, whether good or bad. It's bringing something to the name of sickle cell. So sign the petition. There's a petition going on online with the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, and then little Miss Hughes, the Youth Sickle Cell Advocate. She's the face of the ad. So definitely sign it, and just share your thoughts on it, share your opinions. There's a comment section on there. If you can't find it online, just go to change.org and then search sickle cell, and it should come up. You'll see Tiana Hughes' face on there with the caption "Sickle cell is not a joking matter," and honestly, it's not. All in all, we have the same mission, and which is to bring awareness to it. So, hats off to NBC Universal, Mark Wahlberg, little guy that played Ted, the voice, whatever your name is, I can't think of it right now, but thank you for bringing awareness to the name. I got my opinions, Team Lewis over here. But definitely, like I said, SickleStormRadio.com. It's the kickoff show called What's the 411. Again, a big, huge thank you to Dr. Sue, Mr. Dr. Lewis Sue, who called in, shared his thoughts, shared his opinions.
He shared some great information as well. I mean, definitely, because I definitely was, curious about the bone marrow stem cell that they have going on, because I've heard a lot about it in, adolescents and children.
Right.
So I'm definitely curious about, how that
works for adults.
So now we know it works for adults.
And it has a high percentage, a high success rate for adults.
Correct. Like the oldest one that had it done, I believe he said was 62. Like,
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm just amazed at the age that he was. 52 still living with this disease. That's awesome.
And that's one question I forgot to ask him. So I meant to ask him, since he is a youth or a pediatric doctor, why they put that label on sickle cell patients saying they're not going to make it past X, Y, Z age, or they're not. I should have drilled him on that too, but we'll run into him again.
They put a lot, saying there are a lot of things that we can't do, especially the girls. We shouldn't have children, and the age limit they put on us. So I was blessed with 5. God said different. So I don't always go by what the doctors say. Especially the medications that they're giving us, the hydroxyurea. This is actually a cancer medication. No, it does not always work. So, you have to, I go with what the Bible says, what the higher power says.
And also you go by what the name of the P413 Foundation says.
I can do all things through Christ.
And I mean, we're not trying to go to church. We're not trying to, break religion over the line or anything like that, but definitely want to let people know that it requires, every sickle cell patient requires a tremendous amount of strength. And, to sit and see her deal with it every day, nothing that I handle in a day can compare to what she goes through. So definitely salute to her. All of the sickle cell patients, the youth sickle cell patients that we have in our group, everybody else, especially the youth. Yeah. So they don't know. They don't know exactly what it is they're going through. They don't know it just yet. So, and it's a lot, especially with some of the medications that Dr. Sue said that they take.
They're taking medications and I take morphine and Xylox. Yeah, those are very strong, powerful medications. Yeah. So for the young ones to be taking that, it's something serious. And
then we got some teens that we know, some teen sickle cell patients that we know they got like the morphine patch and all of that.
Yes.
So I mean that's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And if you see, do me a favor, do me a huge favor, because we do it ourselves, me more directly, I do it. But if you see a blood drive, if you see anybody hosting a blood drive, as a matter of fact, go to Life Source website, Life Source Blood Center, Red Cross, anybody that takes blood collections and donate a pint of blood. It's harmless.
It's a selfless act.
Yes, selfless act, and it helps tremendously. Especially with the youth, especially with the adults. She was in the hospital last week, and she had to get two units of blood. She had to get 2 units of blood just so she can sit here and go through, I won't say all of what I go through in a day, but, a fraction of what I go through in a day or what we go through as non-carriers in a day, just so she can, be an active mother.
Be that active mother in life. It's something I needed.
Yeah, so, that's just like, the Energizer Bunny. She had to recharge the battery.
Exactly.
So, we're gonna end up, again, thank everybody for calling in. We're gonna end up with a poem submission from a Chicago, from somebody that was from Chicago, by way of Racine now, named Kay Sarah. She's with the group called P413, which is a very powerful group under the direction, under the wings of a good friend of mine, international poet Black Ice. And the poem is called Bells. Again, tune in, check out the archives, sicklestrongradio.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking us out. Dr. Sue, again, thank you for calling in.
Most definitely. Check us out every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
So follow us on the web as well. Look up P413 Foundation on all social media, really. So here we go with the poem called Bells by Miss Kay Sarah. Thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.
Wade in waters, wade in the waters, children, wade in waters. God's gonna trouble them waters. God's gonna trouble them waters. Fingertips, pocket deep, walking in an uninterrupted internal sleep. Like, how did we get here? Shoulders hunched over in misapprehension of Rocket Boulevard. No truth, just you growing up with under-exaggerating caveats. See, accepted ultra benevolence, blind bullets to dozing irrelevant soul. They settle in this state of mind, but bullets are flying over empty loud bags, quietly, infectiously piercing the flesh of not only life interrupted, but those who have been emotionally infected. Children are dying. Healed toes on a wet pavement, yet embraced with DNA-drenched impoverishments that lie ignored until the sheriff stands behind the peephole of your front door to deliver that undying message that I'm sure will sing like the chorus of your favorite lullaby. But it's time for you to identify and bid goodbye. Why can I just have my best friend back? He was only sitting on the porch when he was visiting, one bell rings. She was only grabbing her groceries the first day of summer when the sun was glistening. 2 bells ring. Silence, laughter at the park where the grammar school kids swing. 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 bells ring. See, that chime is the sound of the heavens make another angel gets their wings. Gone too soon. Hood coverage of the line with teddy bears and balloons. T-shirt and obituary to remember the fallen. Cold hands left to touch only. Silence memories of a young man who lost his father too early, so he really didn't smile that much. 6 shots, 7 shots, 9 bells ring. 10, 11, 23. More than 500 bells rang in Chicago in 2013. We must come together because this is where we fail as a society. If we could come together with a universal concern, then we can maximize it for Friday. Instead of sitting back and letting them all just lie to me. Or will we continue to confide in the lies and stand idly by until someone forces your bell to ring?